Well, hello, my dear folks. I am back. So let's review the next questions on this pretest and make sure that you got it. I wish I were there to answer your questions, but we'll do the best we can. The perimeter of a rectangle is 30 centimeters. I'm going to draw that. You should always draw these geometry questions. So here's your rectangle, and I know that the perimeter is 30. The width is one more than 6 times the length. All right. So let's say that this is the length and this is the width. What's the area of the rectangle? Okay, since I have two variables, I need to write two equations. The first equation you're now very familiar with, 2L's plus 2W's equals 30. You guys knew that one, huh? Because there are two W's and two L's. So if I add L plus W equals 30. And then the next one is simple. It says the width is, so W equals, one more than 6 times the length. So 6 times the length plus 1. And the question is, what's the area of the rectangle? So I just need to solve for L and W. So one thing I should do is first of all figure out what method I want to use. You know what method to use, don't you? Substitution on this one. So let's use substitution because it says W equals. So wherever I see a W, I can replace it with 6L plus 1. So here we go. And now all I have to do is solve this equation. So make sure I distribute. Multiply those. Combine the like terms. And now subtract 2 from both sides. I get 14L equals 28. Oh, good, because 14 goes into 28. And I'm getting that L equals 2. So that must be 2, and that must be 2. So now let's go find the width. Well, I know that the width equals 6 times the length plus 1, so the width must be 13. So let's see if this makes sense. Is the perimeter 30? 13 plus 2 is 15. 13 plus 2 is 15. Yeah, so we're good. Now the question is, what is the area? All right, well, to find the area of a rectangle is just base times height. So the area equals base times height. And therefore the answer is 2 times 13, or 13 times 2. And the area is 26 square centimeters. And that's your final answer. Not bad, huh? You can handle that. Number 6, the total value of dimes and quarters in Rio's loaded cash box is 470. There are 5 more dimes and quarters. How many are there of each? Okay. Well, for this one, you need to say, first of all, your variables. I'm going to use D and Q. Let D equal the number of dimes. And we'll say let Q equal the number of quarters. You always got to define your variables before you write equations. And the first equation, we've practiced this one before. I remember we practiced it last week. I'm going to multiply a number of dimes times 10 cents, because that gives me the value of the dimes. I'm going to multiply the number of quarters times 25 cents. That gives me the value of the quarters. And together, their value is 470. All right. Now, the second equation says there are 5 more dimes than quarters. So there are more dimes than quarters. That means that, well, there's several ways we could write this if there are 5 more dimes than quarters. I'm going to put it this way. D equals Q plus 5. The reason I know that that is right is because there are more dimes than quarters. So if I take the number of quarters and add 5, it'll be equal to the number of dimes. You could have written it differently, I suppose. You could have said that the number of quarters is equal to the number of dimes minus 5. That would have also been true, since there are 5 more dimes than quarters. This one too says substitution to me. So I'm going to use substitution to solve it. So I'm going to put this into there. So here we go. 0.10. And I probably don't need to talk you through this anymore because you're probably pretty good at it by now. So distributing, I get 0.10Q, and 10 cents times 5 is 50 cents. Now let's go ahead and combine these like terms. So I have 0.10Q and 0.25Q. Well, that gives me 0.35Q. Put that 50 cents there. Now I'm going to subtract the 50 cents. And I get 0.35Q equals $4.20. Now you can use a calculator for this one. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.35, and I'm going to get that Q equals 12. All right. If Q equals 12, then the number of dimes, which is Q plus 5, is going to be 12 plus 5. See, dimes is Q plus 5. So the number of dimes is 17. And that's it. That's how many there are each one. I'm going to do a quick check in my head. Yep, that's right. Let's do one more question in this video, then we'll do a third video. All right, question number 7. A science test is worth 190 points, has 50 questions. There are multiple choice questions worth 2 points each, and short answer worth 5 points each. How many are of each? All right, so let X equal the number of multiple choice. These are the 2-pointers. And let Y equal the number of short answer. These are the 5-pointers. So my equation is going to be, well, let's see, there are 50 questions in total. So that's just X plus Y equals 50, because the number of multiple choice plus the number of short answers is going to be 50. It's a long test. And it's worth 190 points, all right? 2 points for each multiple choice, plus 5 points for each short answer. Uh-oh. Don't worry. You're only watching this on video. It's not contagious. It was 190. Okay, so now I need to decide on a method to solve this. This one is set up for substitution, so I'm going to use substitution. And I'm going to multiply the top, not substitution, excuse me, the elimination method. I'm going to multiply top by -2. That will help me get rid of the x's. X's are gone. And I'm left with 3y equals 90 divided by 3. I get y equals 30. So there should be 30 short answer questions worth 5 points each. And if there are 30 short answer questions worth 5 points each, that would be 150 points for those. I'm just kind of keeping track. And then I need to go find how many multiple choice ones there were. Well, I know that there are a total of 50 questions. And if there were 30 short answer, that must mean that there are 20 multiple choice. And each of these are worth 2 points each for a total of 40 points. So 40 points and 150 points makes 190. So yep, that's right. There are 30 short answer questions and 20 multiple choice questions. Okay, I'm going to come back for the third video to finish it off. And hopefully you guys did well on those 3. Make sure you study those well for tomorrow's test. All right, I'll see you later.